Welcome to English Podcast, your place to enjoy captivating stories and real conversations while improving your English. Listen anytime, anywhere, and boost your confidence step by step.
Our story begins on a blustery, which means very windy, autumn evening in the city of London. Imagine the golden leaves swirling down from the trees lining the busy streets.
Yes, a classic London scene. The air is crisp and carries the scent of rain and damp earth. People hurry along the pavements, wrapped in scarves and coats, trying to get home after a long day.
Exactly. Now, picture a double-decker bus, the iconic red kind, rumbling its way through the traffic. It's almost full, just a few seats remaining on the upper deck.
Inside, the warm air is thick with the quiet murmur of conversations and the rhythmic swoosh of the windshield wipers clearing the drizzle. It feels cozy, a refuge from the chill outside. The bus is heading towards Hampstead Heath, a large, hilly park known for its beautiful views over the city.
Among the passengers, there's a young woman named Amelia. She's laden with shopping bags, looking exhausted after a long day at work. She's really hoping to find a seat. Laden means carrying a lot of heavy things.
Amelia is clutching her bags tightly, her shoulders aching. She glances around hopefully, her gaze flitting between the remaining empty seats. She looks quite desperate to rest her weary legs. Weary means tired, especially after working hard.
The bus lurched forward, its engine groaning as it pulled away from the curb. Rain lashed against the windows, blurring the city lights outside. Inside, it was warm and humid, filled with the quiet murmur of conversations and the rustling of newspapers. Most of the seats were taken, except one, right at the back.
A young woman, clutching a heavy bag, hurried onto the bus just as the doors were about to close. She looked tired, her coat damp from the rain. Her eyes scanned the bus, searching for an available seat. She spotted the empty one at the back and started to make her way down the aisle, navigating past the other passengers.
This young woman, let's call her Sarah, looked quite burdened, you know. Burdened means carrying a heavy load, either physically or emotionally. In this case, it seems like both. Her heavy bag and tired expression suggested she'd had a long day.
Exactly. And aisle is the pathway between rows of seats. You often hear this word used in planes, trains, and buses. So, Sarah is carefully making her way down the narrow aisle.
As Sarah made her way to the back, a young man sitting near the aisle stretched his legs out, blocking her path. He didn't look up from his phone. He seemed completely oblivious to her presence. It was a subtle, but clear, act of preventing her from reaching that last seat.
Oblivious. That's a good word to learn. It means unaware or not noticing something. He's so engrossed in his phone, he's oblivious to Sarah trying to get past.
Right. Sarah hesitated for a moment, unsure of what to do. She cleared her throat softly, hoping to get his attention. He didn't budge. She considered asking him to move, but the words caught in her throat. She didn't want to cause a scene.
A scene can mean a public display of anger or disagreement. Sarah is trying to avoid a confrontation. She's feeling hesitant, meaning unsure or reluctant to do something. It's a common feeling when you're in an awkward situation.
So, to quickly recap what's happened so far in our story, the last seat on the bus, Arthur, our main character, is having a really tough day. He lost his job and then missed his usual bus home. Everything seems to be going wrong.
Exactly. And now he's finally managed to squeeze onto a crowded bus, feeling completely defeated. He's standing there, holding onto a pole, surrounded by people. Remember, defeated means feeling like you've lost and you can't win.
Right, he's lost and discouraged. Then, an elderly woman gets on the bus. The bus is absolutely packed. Packed means very full, crowded. There are no seats left except for one next to Arthur.
Yes, and this is where the story gets interesting. Arthur is so tired and down, he almost pretends not to notice her. He's thinking about his own problems. He's exhausted, both physically and mentally. Exhausted means very, very tired.
He's at a low point. But something makes him look up, and he sees the woman struggling to stand. He hesitates for a moment. Will he offer her his seat? Remember, hesitates means he pauses before doing something. He's unsure.
And this moment of hesitation is key. It shows us the internal struggle Arthur is going through. He's tired, he's had a bad day, but he also knows the right thing to do. He's battling his own self-interest with his conscience, that little voice inside telling him what's right and wrong.
So, that's where we are so far. Will Arthur offer his seat? What will happen next? We'll find out in the next part of our story.
Stay tuned. This simple act of kindness, or potential act of kindness, might just change everything. Kindness, of course, means being nice and helpful to others.
As the bus pulled away, Amelia noticed the young man slumped in his seat, staring blankly out the window. He looked utterly dejected. That's a good word to learn, dejected. It means deeply disappointed or disheartened. He had missed his chance, and the weight of it seemed to be pressing down on him.
Yes, dejected is a perfect word to describe him. He looked completely down in the dumps. That's another way of saying sad or depressed. His shoulders were slumped, and he didn't even seem to notice the bustling city passing by.
Exactly. He was lost in his own thoughts, completely oblivious to everything around him. Oblivious means unaware or not noticing something. And Amelia, observing him from a few rows back, felt a pang of sympathy.
She remembered the feeling of missing an important opportunity. She recalled a time when she was at her wit's end, meaning she felt completely helpless and didn't know what to do. So she understood how the young man must be feeling. It's such a relatable emotion.
Absolutely. And that empathy spurred her to action. She knew she couldn't fix his missed flight, but maybe, just maybe, she could offer a small act of kindness. A small gesture to lift his spirits, even just a little. She decided to take a chance and approach him. This is where the story takes an interesting turn.
It's a pivotal moment. Here, pivotal means crucial or very important. Will she actually talk to him? It takes courage to approach a stranger, especially one who appears so dejected. I'm eager to find out what happens next.
She gathered her courage, walked over, and lightly tapped him on the shoulder. He looked up, startled, his eyes red-rimmed. "Excuse me," she began hesitantly. "I couldn't help but notice, are you all right?" That simple question, a simple act of acknowledging his distress, was the first step.
That takes us to another important phrase, couldn't help but notice. It's a common way of saying that you noticed something even though you weren't trying to. It's often used when you've noticed something that's a bit awkward or sensitive. It's a polite and gentle way to approach a difficult topic.
Exactly, and her gentle approach was key. It was the first flicker of light in the young man's otherwise gloomy day. Let's see how he reacts in the next part of the story. Okay, let's recap the story so far. Remember, recap means to summarize or go over the main points again. An elderly woman, Mrs. Higgins, was struggling to get on the crowded bus. Everyone seemed too preoccupied to notice her, except for our kind young man, Mark.
Mark, despite being tired after a long day at work, saw Mrs. Higgins and felt a pang of empathy. Empathy means understanding and sharing the feelings of another person. He knew what it was like to feel overlooked, so he decided to do something kind.
He offered Mrs. Higgins his seat. She was so grateful and they started talking. She had been on her way to visit her granddaughter, whom she hadn't seen in months. Mark realized that his small gesture had a big impact.
Exactly. He learned about Mrs. Higgins' life, her granddaughter Lily, and how much this visit meant to her. This simple conversation brightened both their days. They chatted about Lily's baking, specifically her famous apple pie, and Mrs. Higgins' knitting. It turns out Lily loved receiving her grandmother's handmade scarves.
And remember the word, overwhelmed? Mrs. Higgins was overwhelmed with gratitude. This wasn't just about a seat on the bus. It was about a connection, a moment of kindness that meant the world to her. She thanked Mark profusely, her eyes sparkling with happiness.
When Mark reached his stop, he felt a sense of fulfillment he hadn't expected. Fulfillment describes a feeling of satisfaction, like you've done something meaningful. He realized that helping Mrs. Higgins had made him feel much better than simply sitting down would have.
He may have had to stand for a bit longer, but the warmth of that kind act stayed with him. It reminded him of the importance of small acts of kindness, and how they can ripple outwards, making a bigger difference than we realize.
Absolutely. This seemingly insignificant act of offering a seat created a ripple effect of positivity. Mrs. Higgins had a more pleasant journey to see her beloved granddaughter, and Mark discovered the joy of giving. He learned a valuable lesson that day.
Thanks for listening to English Boost. Remember, practice a little every day and you'll see big results. See you in the next episode.